see more.
Ooh. Like those monkeys.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Oh, you can't hear you, Nada.
Can't hear you.
Oh no. Don't even tell me.
She started recording a bit, right? Hmm.
Oop, how do you do this?
And hear nada.
Oh my God, where's my water?
Having issues with my, there we go. Awesome. Okay, that'll be an answer for us. My goodness, I have to find out why that's all of a sudden not working for me. Anyways,
Okay.
I want to wish Sean a happy birthday and a welcome for her. Actually, it's nice that she's taken the time out on Valentine's and her birthday to come on tonight. But some of you know that Sean has been a promoter in our
Sean, the other
team.
Sean.
Sean's been a promoter in our team for, oh my gosh, over 25 years now. And she's coming back to the business. And Ashley, it's because of, I think, one of your talks on retiring and I think it was, I can't remember what it was, Sean. There was something that you shared with me about your husband is retiring in a few years, and
Yeah.
right, and you didn't want to
He
be
wants to. He's eligible next June, and then he wants, like to figure out how we can do this. And I'm like, well, I could probably try to do the business again because I've tried a few times over the years, but then not lost interest, but I was busy with other stuff. And so I said, well, I'm going to give a kick at the can here and do it. And then we did the virtual rally. And that's kind of what started it.
Yeah, it's exciting, really exciting.
Mhm,
Anyways,
mhm.
that's what I welcome. Ashley, Sean loves your presentation. She's always messaging me, says, I love Ashley.
Listen, look, I don't know what that says about you, Sean, but I cannot wait to meet you. Look, great people, and there's no accounting for taste, but I'm so glad that you guys have not kicked me down the road yet. I can't wait to meet you, Sean.
Awesome.
You too.
Awesome. Well, I want to welcome you all for joining us tonight on this lovely Valentine. And Ashley, thank you for taking the time out, because I know I was debating on canceling, but I thought the momentum in Canada is just, it's going. We're moving, we're shaking. Maybe you can give some insight on what's happening in Canada.
Yeah, no, as a matter of fact, I love that you asked that, because I wanted to ask you all, what are you doing? Because there's great momentum. So at some point tonight, I would love if you are, and we'll get to this, so it's fine. I'll let Nada go in any direction she wants to go, but start thinking, because I don't like putting people on the spot, but start thinking if there's something that you've started doing differently, let's say even 60 days ago, like 60 to 90 days ago, if there's something that you started doing differently, I would love to hear about it, because it's like the momentum that's happening right now, the excitement that is happening in Canada. It didn't just start last week. It didn't just start last month. It started before that, and it's falling out of the pipeline now because of lag time. So I would love if any of you did anything differently or started looking at things differently 60 to 90 days ago. I'd love to know what it is so I can tell everybody else to do it.
Well, for me personally, I'm focusing on my personal sponsoring. I was a little nervous when you put that out there, because I've been so focused on working, with my team and helping them. And I'm still doing that, but I kind of lost a little bit of myself, and I wasn't myself personally. And when I did my 3 and 30 last month, I was like, wow, I can actually do this. I'm believing I can do it again. And you heard me at the rally share that the first, couple of years I was sponsoring 3 people every single month, and that's how I got to director. That's how I stayed consistent as director. And luckily I was able to maintain that. I've always sponsored people here and there personally, but wasn't there, like, stop that focus on me 3 and 30. And I've already got 2 members this month, and I've got 2 or 3 that I'm looking at for promoters. So I'm finding that I'm ahead of the game. So I've got people in the pipeline that I've, when you did that blitz, I've got people on those sheets that I'm still connecting with, and I'm constantly adding people. I don't go anywhere without sample packs. So that's been my focus, just focusing on my 3 and 30 and helping, still helping my team, but I think more of a balance on having, myself doing the 3 and 30.
I think that's so healthy. And the blitz was so great for anyone that grabbed a hold of it. So I would recommend like doing a Canadian blitz again, like do it all the time. But I know anytime you do anything all the time, it loses some of its flair, right? It loses some of its excitement. But for Nada, who grabbed a hold of it the first time, the blitz will not lose its flair because she's constantly being paid from the work that she did 60 or 90 days ago. So I would get those blitzes in order. We had 2 pay periods a month where I came from, so every 2 weeks. And it was the standard that you recruited 3 people every 2 weeks. So when I first got started, that's what they told me. They were like, well, business builders recruit at least 3 people every pay period. When you're new, you don't question things, right? And you're like, oh, well, that's the standard. That's what you do. And I think because the 3 and 30 was around when Nada first got started a long time ago in that way, she was recruiting like crazy. Then it falls off over time. We sort of take our eye off the ball, but I want everyone's focus to get back to that because you're naturally going to work with your team. That's a misnomer in our business that if you're focusing on your front line, that means you're not working with your team. It's just not true. Like you're always going to find time to work with your team. As a matter of fact, like their teams are so demanding, like you can't help but work with your teams. Like they're going to text you and you got to text them back. So you're definitely going to be working with your team, but sometimes it's easier to work with your team and work with your downline because it's easier to come in as the expert and help someone else recruit someone rather than do it yourself. And it's so inspiring to watch someone like Nada, who has a large business and has been doing it a long time, really throw herself back into the recruiting season. So I love that because I truly believe that Neolife is like a vehicle and you are all in the vehicle, right? Like you're in it. We're here, like we're in it now. But like some people have turned it on and you're like revving up the engine and you're excited about it. But I mean, how many people have really like put it in drive and driven down the road, or how many people have even backed out of their driveway, right? And until you're going somewhere, it's impossible to lead anyone else. Like if you're a leader and you're in your car parked in your driveway, no one can follow you because you're not going anywhere. So how inspiring is it that like Nada has always been on the road, but even if she pulled over for a little while to help other people, which is awesome, how great is it that she put it in drive and her foot is on the floor and you're seeing her tail lights. And I think sometimes in this business as leaders, you've got to show them your tail lights because no one wants to be left behind. And everyone wants to feel like they are here and a part of the team. And if everyone is recruiting, other people are going to start doing the same thing. So I am so proud of the efforts that you have put in, Nada. I mean, it's wonderful to watch. It's inspiring for everyone. So I would encourage everyone to really focus on the personal recruiting. It does not mean that you're going to be leaving anyone in your dust, but it does mean that you're going to set the pace and you're going to set the example and people are going to come after you. So I'm excited about the push for recruiting because every single number that we look at, it all comes back to the personal recruiting. At the end of the day, this is a numbers game. Are you bringing in enough people to one, take care of the people that are going out the back door, right? Like we're always going to have some attrition, especially in an aging field, right? Like we're always going to have attrition. So are we bringing in enough people to take care of the people that are sneaking out the back door that maybe have paused their neo-ship? But then if you're bringing in just enough people to make up for attrition, then you've got a great business, you've got a healthy business, but it's not growing because we're just making up for what we're losing. So you've got to recruit above and beyond that in order to actually grow. And in order to do that, in order to bring enough people in, then you've got to move products into the marketplace. You've got to sell products. But like the underlying theme there is, in order to sell products, you've got to see people. And since 2020, since the world went crazy and exploded, we're not seeing people like we were before. So I think if we break it all the way down, we've got to see more people to be able to sell more products. And when you get people started on products, they're never going to want to go off of them. They're never going to want to do anything else. And then they are going to stick and stay. So I would encourage everyone to look at your personal recruiting, like absolutely go for that. But if it's not where you want it to be, we may just need to see more people. Let's find some ways. The Canadians are great at booths. Like you guys are amazing at them. So look into the booth opportunities, look into your networking groups, find ways to get around people. If you've got little kids, join a play group, find a way to get around others. And as soon as you start sharing your heart about these products, people are going to want to do what you're doing. So, all right, what else is going on, everyone?
I'm glad you said that about connecting. Oh, I'm gonna pause. Hang on, I'll mute Cindy. I think that's Cindy. That's yeah. What I'm gonna do is one for me, like I said, because I've been in the business for so long, finding new people is what I'm always trying to do. So I joined another gym. So I have 2 gyms, and is it an expense? Yes, but I look at what I spend money on a daily basis. It's, mainly supplements, groceries, and my fitness, right? So I've allocated the extra money that I'm going to spend trying to, and it's just like going to networking, sometimes you can spend $200 or $300 or $400 on a booth at an event, but here I'm going to a location where I'm networking with a whole new group of people in an area where people want to get healthy, they're they want to get better, they're exercising. So that's one way. Another way is doing the grand openings or in homes, what do you call it, like an open house. I'm doing 2 for Francis this in March, and I know Leonie, we've got one booked on Saturday. You've decided to open it up to your neighbors. I think having an open house is a fantastic way to, and you know what, even if only a few people show, you just never know what's going to come out of the few people that come. So that's something I would highly recommend, is having an open house in your home and have people come sample and just check out what you're doing.
Yeah. And then if you're someone that's, you're prospecting a lot on social media, think about what you've been posting and try to post something that is an eye catcher. That's what I've been trying to coach people on here recently is, we talk about things, we talk about the same things kind of over and over again. We've built up our base, people know who we are, but sometimes our posts start sounding very similar to one another. So then people sort of, before they even read what we write, they know what we've written, so they don't really read it. So try to find a way to catch their attention. And I was talking with someone earlier today, and she focuses a lot on the weight loss side of things, because we can help people lose an extraordinary amount of weight here at Neolife. We have a great system for that. But what's different about our system is it's not an overnight success. This is not a what I call a fast track to losing weight, right? Like it is not, one of those things where you just swallow it and you immediately are going to dissolve the fat away, because that is not healthy, right? This is not fake appetite control. This is not, metabolic boosting in a bad way. This is fixing it from the root. So I was telling her earlier today, this is not the fast track. This is the made to last track. There are plenty of ways that you can lose weight fast. You can go out and get diet pills. They're not healthy, but that's a fast track. And sometimes people are looking for an easy way out. And that's what you'll hear. You'll be like, look, I'm just looking for a quick fix. And you're like, well, if you're looking for a quick fix, there's lots of ways you can do that. I don't know if it'll work or not. I don't know if it's healthy or not. But when you're ready to fix it right, when you're ready to make it last, I want you to come back to me. And those type of conversations can really make people think, like they're saying no to you for the price, or they're saying no to you for something else. If you flip it back around and you're like, I understand, like, feel free to try other things. I don't know if they'll work or not. I don't know if they're healthy or not. But when you're ready to fix this for good, when you're ready to make it stick, I want you to come back to me, because that is what we specialize in. Like, try to go in a different direction. I'm sorry, I squirreled, my bad. But she talks a lot about the weight loss, but I was telling her different ways to kind of talk about weight loss. But also what I wanted her to do was flip it back around, because since she talks about weight loss so much, we need to talk about all of our other incredible products. And maybe you're someone that you talk all about the other incredible products. Maybe we need to go in a different direction. Maybe you always talk about immunity. Maybe we need to talk about healthy aging, or maybe you talk about healthy aging and you need to talk about weight loss. Whatever it is that you have gotten used to talking to a lot, jazz it up a little bit and go in a different direction. So I was helping her come up with a post earlier today, and it was, we help people lose weight the healthy way. We help people in so many different areas, but where we really shine is prevention. And prevention is not sexy until it's sexy. And that's true. Like, how many times have you talked to someone about preventing something? And we do, like, we have health solutions that can get their body healthy to hopefully prevent things from happening to them later, right? Prevent them from getting bad news down the road. How many times have you talked to someone about products they can put in their body to get healthier so that they don't get bad news, and they don't listen to you until they get bad news? Right? So try to think of some different ways to put that on Facebook in a legal way. Like, you got to be careful, right? Like, I'm corporate, so I've got to tell you that. But like, be careful with the way you put it out there. But the truth is, prevention's not always sexy until it's sexy. And we have preventative measures, like we have preventative health. So I think there's some ways that if you are prospecting on Facebook, you can look at what you've been doing and then do something to shake it up just a little bit, to get their attention in a different direction. To get someone's attention, though, it does need to be short, and it needs to, be eye-catching, right? Like, you want to make sure that you get them quick. So sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but
Sure. Yeah.
however you can get in front of people, get in front of them. But if you've been getting in front of people the same way this whole time and it's not working, let's jazz it up a little bit.
I was sorry, just gonna say something quick.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? So I was thinking the other day. So I've been recently, I guess, looking a little bit into like how ice baths are really beneficial to your body, especially like your nervous system and whatnot.
Ice bath.
Yes. And so I've also been doing for like the last week and a half. It sucked for the first like 5 days, but like really, really cold showers for
Yes.
about like a minute at the end of like a relatively hot shower. But I was thinking like kind of what you're saying about hosting things that might be slightly eye-catching. So it could be, I don't know, maybe I was thinking about doing like a live Facebook video where I'm on a trail walking barefoot, because I know that that's like a grounding thing, could like start just some random ass kind of conversation. It could be, doing like a polar plunge in like, I mean, I don't know if you do an island lake, it's kind of like E. coli filled, but but
I don't know cold
yeah.
water.
But doing like an ice bath, or even like, let's say if I'm in the woods and I see some, I mean, okay, I'm not the most jacked dude at all, but let's say if I see some random piece of like a log or something like that, doing like, I don't know, just doing something, I was trying to like brainstorm on that. Because down the road also with my, like when I complete, so I'm doing like a personal training course right now, but what I want to do is having like, obviously like a brand that caters to regular people, but having stuff where it's also like getting outside of your comfort zone, where I don't know, like it could be even, there's like even like different forms of like, I don't know, primal exercises you can do, where like you have like the mace thing, and like you have like GC's again stuff you don't.
What
No,
you
I'm
saying?
saying that like one, because it starts a conversation, right? And I'm sure that in some sort of way I could probably steer it. I mean, obviously I'm not like, I'd have to learn how to steer better, but eventually like into the product somehow. But I was just kind of thinking about when you're saying, just something that's kind of, catching
Yep.
in some way.
And when you
So-
start doing that, let's just meet up on Zoom and I can find a way to tie products into anything. So I've got you. I got you covered. We can totally do that. Like of all the random ways that I've brought products into things, we've got it. But I do think that that's true. Like you catch their attention
Mhm.
and then you come in. And if you're going to be going live and doing like things to catch their attention and odd things like ice baths,
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about cold showers and like walking barefoot in Canada, like all of those things, if you're getting their attention, that can be your thing, right? Like you can say, all right, every week, I'm challenging myself to get outside my comfort zone. One thing that I don't get outside my comfort zone enough with is honestly sharing products from the company that I'm partnered with. I'm very passionate about it, but I never want you all to think that I'm trying to sell you anything. So I'm going to get outside my comfort zone physically, but I'm also going to get outside my comfort zone mentally. And each week, as I share the way I'm getting outside my comfort zone physically, I'm also going to tell you about one product that I love that's made a difference in my life, because I don't know what's going on
Good idea.
in your
About-
four walls. I don't know what's going on within your body. But if I
Right.
just share a product a week, I could share something that you actually need that I don't even know you need. So like we can wind anything in. We can wind it in. So we'll just meet up on Zoom
Good
and
one.
That's cool, actually.
figure it out.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Can I just add something?
Go
This
for it.
weekend when I'm doing the open house, and that is, she's coming to do it with us. So last night I was trying to figure out the title, and I put the wellness on Parkinson. Parkinson is where I live. So he goes, nah, it's too cheesy, Mom. So he was saying like different titles. So then we came out with I said, how does healthy feel?
Yeah.
That's the title
Great.
of what it is. And then we wrote a little blurb. And then, and then there's one that, so it's an event, I post the event. And then Sean says, why don't you talk about, like if it's a business opportunity, he goes, meet Neolife's top Canadian earner, and I put a name, Nada St. Germain, and learn how she did it. So that was a good thing in terms of like that was Sean's idea, actually. So, just a business thing. So if someone wants to come in, then they go, oh, okay, hey, let's just go hear her. So that's, it's a good draw in as well, right? Besides
I
the.
love it.
I
dates and stuff
like the
that.
post. It was very different than any other post I've seen when it comes to doing an in-home or like a.
I like it.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was very catchy, very catchy.
I like it a lot. And you made me
Thank you.
think of something. You made me think of something, Leonie, that I would do. You know how you just said, like, how does healthy feel? You
Mhm.
could Google a couple of weird questions like that. And the one that came to mind is like, my husband asks me these weird questions all the time. Like, is water wet or is it sticky? Like, that is an actual, have you guys seen that trend? Like whether water
Yeah.
is wet or sticky?
Yeah.
You could find some things like that. And if you're live on Facebook, you could say, all right, I want to ask you some questions. Like, then tell me your answers. Like, is water wet or is it sticky? Is something blah, 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 blah. What does healthy feel like? Like you're drawing them in to have conversations with you. They're going to tell you whether water is wet or sticky. They're going to argue with each other about that, but they're going to tell you what healthy feels like. And then you can say, like, you can bring that post back around to say, we had such great conversation about what healthy feels like. I'm doing an event to show you exactly what healthy feels like, to tell you, you know what I mean? So you can tease it up. You can tee it up early on with like some of those weird questions.
Mhm.
Did you do that after? So do that after the event, Jimmy?
However you want to do it.
Oh,
But you
okay.
can tee it up. You can do it afterwards.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
as long as you're bringing people in to start the conversation, especially online, that's where
Yeah.
your algorithm is going to get better. Like when I was building my business, I would post things about, all of the random things. And we all know this. If you've spent any time on social media, I could make a post about this pen and I'd get 300 people to like it. But if I post about a product, about 3 people are going to like it. Like,
Mhm.
that the reason for that though, is they're afraid if they like it, I'm going to message them and say, oh, I saw you like my post. Do you want to buy some products? So just because they don't like it does not mean they're not watching it. Like, so continue to post, not about Neolife every minute of every day, but continue to post, continue to drip it on them, because you'll be shocked at the people that come back and say, okay, I've been watching you for a few months and I think the timing's right. But the only way to get that to happen is to be very consistent with it. Now, and like I said, not every day, but just consistently adding value in the health and wellness space in a fun way. But people do not want to read dissertations. They don't want to read a science book, even though like we all love like our SAB. We think our SAB is incredible, but no one else knows what the SAB is. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to make sure that we're speaking to like the common man that's going to be reading it. So like if you're going to talk about Dr. Beck, find an incredible fact about Dr. Beck and then say, she's going to be speaking at our event. But if you post all of her, it's a doctor of this and of that and of this and of that, and she does this and she does that, no one's even going to read that. But you find a great fact and say she's going to be teaching, she's going to be at this event. I'm going to get to meet her at this event. That'll get their attention a little bit more. So just remember that we're speaking to the common man, and truthfully, none of us really are anymore, right? Like we're more learned when it comes to health and wellness than the average person is. So we have to remember what it's like on the other side of the table. And sometimes that's hard because we got the curse of knowledge, right? You're like, but I know that Upbeat has 12 facts. Like I know there's 12 facts about Upbeat and I need everyone to know all 12 of them. But the truth is they just need a couple of catchy things to get them to ask some more questions and to engage, but be really consistent so that people will come back around to you.
Mhm.
All right, what
Thank
else
you.
is going on, guys?
Come on, guys. You got the floor.
I was going to say, I wrote something down earlier.
Well,
Heather.
Let's
Heather's
see if
unmuted.
it's good.
thing that I've been doing differently from back, December, November, and that was knowing the rally was coming up. And I made my invitations very differently this time. And basically, I invited people to come and have some fun at my place. Now, I
Yes.
know I'm a little edge because we just built a new place. And you saw people were just going to say yeah because they wanted to come and see what it looked like. I don't care. That's them here, right? And so I just, I think the way I've changed the way I'm inviting, I'm better person to person. Actually, I've not been doing social media so much, but just talking to people, even the people that I see every week, but extending an invitation to come and listen to something or come and be at something with not so much an expectation, but just an assumption that they're going to say yes, because why would they say yes, right? So it just kind of it changes the intention. It changes. It's not like expectation where, oh, I'm dashed if they say no. Oh, that's they'll either say yes or they'll say no. But this way I can just say, come have some fun, learn some great stuff. It's just like being a little lighter in my inviting and just knowing. I think this the conviction, and I've had this conviction for decades, but knowing how great the products that we have, everything that we have, and that I know it and they don't. And like one of the people that I invited to meet with me, and she had taken a look on the website. She said, "Oh, usually I don't even give my website in my card, but she found it." And she said, "You know what? I don't think that I'm going to be interested in any of this. I've found out." She said, "You don't need to waste your time and have coffee with me." I said, "No, let's have coffee." And up front, she'd already said no. It didn't matter. She's now one of my members, and she just went on the Proven 33 after the rally. So just because I listened, because at one point she said, "Well, what do you have that I can't get in my food?"
Yes.
Bingo. So because I know when she didn't, it was very quick changeover.
So there are so many nuggets that I'm going to point out in what Heather just said, because I don't want you to miss any of them, right? Sometimes it's the law of familiarity. Maybe you hear Heather a lot and you didn't hear what she just said, but several things. One, she lightened up her invitation. And if I could give everyone that just little tip, lighten up your invitation. Like people can Google for information, right? So if you're saying, come over to my house so that you can sit and I'll give you some more information about Neil, like I can Google from my house in my pajamas. And then I don't feel like I have to buy anything. Like that's a much better, that's a much better deal, right? Like I can look. The other thing is that she said she usually doesn't give her website. Huge thumbs up to that. Here's why. If your go-to, if someone says, hey, I'm interested, can you send me your website? I don't send them my website. And here's why. Because they're going to go to the website on their own. They're going to look at the price, and then they're going to make the decision whether it's worth it or not. But they have no idea the value. This is also what Heather said, the value that these products have. Because our job is to create value where none is perceived. So I don't know if I've told you this story before, but if I did, somebody on here's new. So we're going to pretend I'm talking to them. But I was doing an event at my house one night, and I had people in front of me crying because they wanted to get started on the product so badly. And it was going to cost a couple $100s to get started on products. They needed to lose weight. They were very overweight. And they were like, Ashley, we want to do it, but we just can't afford it. And of course I responded, well, I understand. I don't want you to spend money that you don't have. So let's dive in together. Let's figure out some ways that we can make some exchanges in what you already spend, whether you're driving through Starbucks or, if we get you started on these products, like a weight loss or shape up solution, that's going to be under $8 a day with 2 meals. So you're going to get your core nutrition. You're going to get 2 meals for less than driving through Starbucks. So we can make exchanges, but if we can't find somewhere to make exchanges, let's just save up and we'll get you started next month. But I had them on my heart all night. I just could not stop thinking about the people that are so desperate to change their life that they're crying in front of me and they couldn't figure it out. The next day was Saturday. And I don't know how much you guys know about, American football, but college football tends to be the king around these parts, especially I'm from Alabama. So the next day, Alabama went to the SEC championship. We won because we're awesome, but that's neither here nor there. Won the game. And that meant that we were going to the national championship. The 2 people that sat in my house the night before and cried because they couldn't afford $200 for their health spent $2,000 on national championship tickets. I learned more in that one scenario than I've probably ever learned with anything else in the industry. And that's that it's not that people don't have the money always. Sometimes they don't have the money. So I'm not making light of that. Sometimes they don't have the money, but the majority of the time, they don't see the value in what we have to offer. They saw the value in going to the national championship game, and I feel them. I went too, but I wasn't saying I couldn't afford $200 for products, right? So our job is to create value where none is perceived. And if they get to your website before you've created that value, it's going to be hard to bring them back around unless you can create that value again. So whenever you get people started in your team, make sure that you nip that in the butt from the very beginning, because it's very easy. It's an easy out when someone asks for information to send them to the website. And that's what a new person is going to do every time. Like, why not? It's a website, but we need to educate them from the very beginning that is a quick way to have a whole lot more work, like bringing them back around. It's not a lost cause. I mean, Heather just showed you exactly how you do it. You dive in and you build relationships. And when you build the relationships, you're able to drop in. Heather probably touched her and dripped on her 9 times, right? Like she saw Heather taking products. Heather built a relationship with her. And then she gets her on one of the rallies and she gets started on the Proven 33. When originally she said no to everything. So let's lighten up our approach, lighten up our invitation. And by all means, listen to the other thing that Heather dropped there. Like we should have an expectant heart. We talk about that a lot in life is move through life with an expectant heart. Like I expect that if people know how good these products are, they're going to want to take them, but they're misinformed and they're uninformed. They don't know. But I mean, I am expectant of the fact that if I do a good enough job on my invitation and I build a relationship with them and I'm a nice person, that I can talk to them enough times that they're eventually going to listen to something. They're going to get on a Discover More, or, they're going to get on a rally or a wellness kickoff. So I'm expectant of the fact that I'm eventually going to get them to look at something. But I think a lot of times you look at talking to someone and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got to get them in this first time. Like I've got to get them to say yes right away. And that's very rare. So if you look at it like it's dating always, and you don't have to seal the deal on the very first time, but it's more of a dance. It's more of dating. It's more of, getting to know them, let them get to know you, and to see that you're really not just trying to sell them something, but you really have something of value in your hands. And Heather, I just think, like, I have not known you for very long, but I just think everything you described, that's leaps and bounds from wherever you were when you started. I can promise you that. Like, I don't know what it looked like because I wasn't here when you got started, but that's a lot of growth and a lot of wisdom. So, what would Heather do? That's what we're going to ask ourselves the next time we're faced with a situation.
So just one quick thing then, Ashley, when we send people information, let's say, on the Proven 33, I use the Team Neo Life app.
Yeah.
So I met someone today at a fitness class, and we were chatting, and she was complaining about her, struggling with weight, and I just shared with her what I did and how, and I talked about that back fat, and we laughed so hard. She's like, oh, I know you can suck in your belly, but you can't hide that back fat. And we're just joking around and stuff like that. So I told her, I gave her a sample of one of the protein shakes, and I did send her your video that you did in the Team Neo Life app. Now, when you do that, they have access to the website. Yeah. You're saying not to give them the website. So are you saying not to send stuff?
Because you've created some value. Like, if they watch it, then they're at least interested. Okay. I just mean that initially when I first got started and people would say, all right, well, what do you do? I'll look into it. Instead of me giving them any value or building any relationship, I literally would send them my website because I thought, well, that's easy. I'll get them over there and let them look around and then they'll want it. But for Neolife in particular, and this is different than other companies sell cheap products that have very pointed purposes, right? Like, where I came from, there was a drink that gave you energy. There was a pill that was a branched chain amino acid. There was a shake that gave you a shake or whatever. We all know that our products are way more complex than a drink that gives you energy. This that does it. Even our least complicated product does 3 or 4 things, right? So we have premium products. It's an elevated experience. And so people that are going to the website, you're looking for a particular, we're honestly looking for a specific type of consumer. We're looking for an elevated consumer. We're looking for someone that values quality, because if they don't value quality, they'll just go to GNC and buy something cheaper, right? Like, you're looking for someone that values quality. You're looking for someone that wants to fix it at the root, that they're not just looking for a quick fix. So I think when we know what we're looking for, and we know that truly we're looking for an elevated customer, like we're looking for a premium customer because we sell a premium product, you're going to hold yourself differently. Like Heather was just talking about, like, she's expectant that they're going to say yes because she's coming prepared and she knows she has something of value. And if you come expectant, you don't talk people into things, and then you don't get salesy, right? And I mean, the kiss of death is starting to talk someone into something, because then you get real salesy, and then you're like, oh my goodness, I was that salesperson, right? But when you're expectant, you expect them to say yes, and you have something of value to add, you talk completely differently. You will even drop something about Neolife into the conversation, and then you'll talk about Chick-fil-A that y'all may not even have. Maybe I don't need to talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about a pen. Sorry. So, but you'll drop it in, and then you'll be like, you'll say, oh yeah, like that. Honestly, I've got a shake, the nutrition company that I've partnered with for the last 25 years, we quite literally have the greatest tasting shake on the market. You're going to have to try one day. So now, we were talking earlier about our golf swing, right? Like, because you're so expectant, you'll drop it and then start talking about golf. And it's beautiful. Like, it creates the best bias out there when you can just, talk about something else and you leave them wanting. And then they come back around and they're like, Heather, earlier you were talking about that shake. Like, do you have one? And you're like, you know what? I think I do have one in my car. Of course you have one in your car. But every little thing matters. But the kiss of death is trying to talk them into it. and then you get salesy, and then their quills come out and they start stiff arming you. It feels like your decision. It doesn't feel like their decision. You're in quicksand. There's so much nuance that over time you learn that you're like, man, if I knew that when I first got started, I would have made a whole lot more money. Like, I would have been way more successful. So I'm loving everything that is coming from you guys tonight. I think that this is why Canada's on fire, because you guys, you've got swagger about you. And I don't know if that translates like well from what I mean about swagger, but you know what you have is valuable. And you know that everyone needs it. So there's no reason to talk anyone into anything. As a matter of fact, when they say no, we feel sorry for them because they're going to end up coming back to you after they get bad news. And that's a terrible, like, I'm glad they come back and I think we can still help them then. But man, I would sure have loved it if they said yes earlier because I've got something of value. Like when someone says no to us, I feel bad for them. I don't know we have nutrition for the entire family. You know, like health. Let me say that. We have health for the entire family. And knowing that you can help kids and you can help teens and you can help men and you can help women, you can help a household, cleaners, you can help skin. We have something for everyone. And if they just immediately say no, like they're the ones that are missing out. So it's almost like, okay, well, who's next? Like I'll find someone that is ready now and I'll leave them with their dignity so that they will come back around later. So sorry, I don't know how I got off on that tangent. I'm sorry. Back to the question. Sorry. You know, I do that. At least you all know me well enough by now. I wrote something down.
Shelly unmuted there. Shelly, did you want to
Hey,
add?
Shelly.
Hi. Yeah, I actually have somebody coming to, that I met just when I went into a store. We've been doing business with them for various reasons. And then she mentioned something about, oh, I'm just so frustrated about my health and doing this. And the next thing you know, she's coming over tonight. So it was just a casual conversation, but just kind of piggybacking a little bit with Heather and just having that whole fun of having the party. Because of weather and then sudden funerals and a whole slew of things, I had about 12 people who weren't able to attend. And so one of the wonderful things that I tried doing and I've been really pleased with kind of the responses was I would reach out to people and just to see, you know, how they're doing after whatever had happened. And would they like to have the recording? And they would say yes. And then instead of just sending it to them, what I did was I said, because you're so busy, and I'm just wondering if there's a day when you think that you could watch this, because then I'll send it to you the day before. And then after you watch it, you know, let's say I'm going to send it on the Thursday and they're watching it on the Friday. Would it be better for me to then check in with you on the Monday or the Tuesday? And I've had amazing responses to absolutely, I want to do it. This is the day that I can watch it, and yeah, follow up with me on the Tuesday. So I now, you know, it was, you know, before I would just kind of send something and then you kind of wonder, did they watch it? I got a little bit more intentional and specific on my wording.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Excellent, Shelly.
that's
Yeah,
so beautiful,
that's
Kelly.
awesome.
Like
Yeah.
that's secret sauce there. Like it's so good. And you're giving them some control, right? Like they feel more in control. I can watch it on Friday. And if anybody else starts doing this, like you can always drop in a joke when you send it over and say, all right, I know things get crazy. I'm going to follow up with you later this afternoon. You know, if you send it on Friday morning, I'm going to follow up with you later this afternoon. If you don't get a chance to watch it, you don't have to ghost me. Just let me know you didn't watch it. I'll follow up with you on Monday. Like if you can make them laugh, their quills go down. If you give them more control, their quills go down. So don't be afraid to. One thing that I've been saying lately is if you can take away the weapon that you believe is going to be used against you, it loses its power. Now, what do I mean by that? If I want to reach out to Heather and I'm like, well, I mean, Heather knows everything about these products. Like, what am I going to tell? Like, what? Heather's a professional. If I reach out to Heather about products, she's going to think, well, I mean, I know more than you. Like, why are you doing this? Right? That's what I'm thinking. So it does not matter what the person is actually going to say. It matters what I think they're going to say. because that's what prevents me from reaching out to them. That's what prevents me from following up. So use the weapon, like take the weapon that you believe is going to be used against you and neutralize it. And it doesn't even actually neutralize. It actually gives you power, because then I can reach out to Heather and say, Heather, okay, I know that you're smarter than me. And I know that it's probably weird me giving you a product recommendation when you are a doctor, when you're a surgeon, but I really would love for you to look into this product. I think it would add a lot of value. And I don't know if it's ever crossed your desk before, but it's special, right? Because what's Heather going to say? I'm a surgeon and I'm smarter than you and you shouldn't send me. Like, no, she's not going to say that. I've already taken that away. So by taking away the weapon that you believe is going to be used against you, it gives you the power, and you can move with confidence and you can freely move around. So like one time I didn't want to follow up with someone because I don't know if this is a secret, but I don't love the taste of the tea. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry if it's your favorite product, but I don't love the taste. And I had sampled someone on it because they asked for it. They were like, let me try that tea. And I was like, are you sure? So I sent it to them, but I did not want to follow up with them because I was like, they're going to tell me, like, I know what they're going to tell you and tell me what I think about it. I delayed and I was like, maybe they'll get back to me. Like maybe they'll say, okay, well, I hate it, but I love you. Like I don't even make money here. And I was worried to follow up. So anyways, I finally was like, I've got to take away the weapon. Like the weapon is what I think they're going to say. And I think they're going to say it's terrible. So I reached back out to them after like a week and I was like, all right, good, bad, or ugly. Did you get a chance to try it? That gave me so much peace that I could just say good, bad, or ugly. You know what she said? That is the greatest thing I've ever put in my mouth. You could have knocked me over with a feather. She said, I've drank it every morning with hot water. And I put in some, she said, I pour in she's got those little like mandarin orange cups or whatever that she eats. She was like, I pour in the extra juice from a mandarin orange or like squeeze a lemon in there and some honey. She was like, it's amazing. And I was dumbfounded. So anyways, that's a silly example to tell you that there are people that you want to reach out to now that you are not reaching out to because there's something in your mind that you think they're going to say. If you will take away that weapon by just calling out the elephant in the room, you're going to reach out to so many more people. You're going to follow up with so many more people, and you're going to do it with a lot of confidence and swagger because you're taking away what they think, like what you think they're going to say. The majority of the time, they weren't going to say that anyway, but it was powerful enough that it kept you from reaching out to them. So if there's someone like that, ask yourself what it is that you're afraid of and say it in the beginning. Look, I know this is what I had to say when I lost my first business. I literally reached out to everyone like this. I was like, all right, hey, I know that you knew I did that for a really long time and I was super passionate about it. I loved it. And I have nothing bad to say about that time or those products. But I have got to tell you what I have my hands on now. And you know what people didn't say? Oh, well, you did that for so long and you're just looking to get money and and I just thought they were going to say, oh, you jumped from company to company, which wasn't my fault that it went under. But I was worried that they would see my passion for a new product as a negative, that she'll just sell anything, right? And for people who have been in direct sales before, that is a huge stumbling block. So as they get added to your team, make sure you give them that advice. Like just call it out in the beginning. Look, I know I've done this before and I wasn't very successful at it, but it was because I didn't have the right product. You have got to see what I have my hands on now. So I'll shut up. Y'all have a meeting in like 5 minutes, right?
I think it's great though, because Asha, I feel I love the tea, but I actually tell people, look, we've got like when we talk, I say, listen, I say, do you like green tea? And if
Yes.
they say, I hate green tea, I say, okay, forget it. This isn't for you then. Or if they say, oh, I love green tea, and they usually say, oh, I know green tea can be a little, stinky, or they'll say like smelly socks, or they make a comment. I go, oh my gosh, I know, but they go, I know it's so good for you. And we joke around about it. So I totally get it about the Neolife tea. It's definitely not my lead to go product.
Me either. You know why? Because we have to talk about stinky socks. And you're like,
I
oh my
know.
goodness, what is happening in my life right now? But it's true. It is true.
So the Neolife Shake is the best sampling tool, and
Amen.
even the upbeat. But I would say, do you like beets? And they go, I hate beets. I go, oh, okay, this might be
Yeah.
a problem then.
Yeah.
And then they'll go, but I know it's good for me, so I should still. I said, you got it. If it's good for you, will you do it? Yes. So,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean, there's ways
Extra
of making it
water,
fun.
extra water, ice, or put it into the vanilla shake. It's not as
Yeah.
bad. It kind of
Yeah.
loses some of that, well,
Yeah.
dirt, like we're kind of tastes
Yeah.
like dirt. doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
will tell you this,
Or-
I can't tell you what's coming this year, but there is a product that's coming out at Impact Summit that will absolutely revolutionize your business. It is
Oh,
incredible. And you're not going to have to make any excuses about smelly socks or dirt. You are going to absolutely love it. And I'm
that's great.
probably saying more than I should, so don't tell anybody, but my boss is not on. So you will want to make certain that you're at Impact Summit, because you'll be able to walk away with it this year. You'll be able to buy it and leave.
awesome.
You'll be able to try it, but also buy it. So that is going to be a big deal.
Awesome.
And
Thank
you will
you.
want to buy it because you're going to want to give it to a lot of people on the flight back to Canada.
Okay.
And will it be available in Canada?
Okay, so I should tell you that in advance. You know that Health Canada makes everything more difficult. We love Canada, but they do make everything more difficult. Just like in all the other markets, when we are working tirelessly to get them to approve this before July. It looks like they have put us on a pause to where it will not be available in Canada until the fall, but we're expediting everything that we can. Like, our goal is to have it ready in July. And I want you to know that we seriously applied for this a long time ago, but they are very difficult. It will get approved. Everything is wonderful with it, but their timeline is pushing it a little past. So you will be able to buy it at Impact Summit and leave with it. You actually are the reason that we're going to have it at Impact Summit, because we want you to be able to have it in your hands. It will be available cross-border, and then we will have it with you. And when it launches in Canada, I'm flying to Canada and I'm going to do the launch in person.
Oh, awesome.
So we're going to make
That's
it, I
great.
promise we're going to make it great. But
That's awesome.
right now it could be slightly delayed. Great question, Shelley. And that way we can get it out. That way y'all are, you're
Awesome.
not mad at me at the last minute.
That's great. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much,
Sure
Shelley.
thing.
or
Oh, well,
Ashley.
you guys
Really.
have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. And Heather, thank you for recording. If you want to just stop the recording and send it to us, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much. And for our